Hey everybody, it's Check the Effects coming at you with another episode of the Jinsue Empire on Paradise Realms. And today we're just going to be going over a few things that a little bit of catch up. Has been quite some time since I last left recording on here. And a lot of things have happened on Paradise Realms here. We've been building quite a bit, including that structure right behind me, and that is the completed new warehouse design. So I want to get into that, and after that we're going to go into a little bit of building. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So you can see here we have is the warehouse, and I'm just going to go inside. Let's take a look here. Here we go, Jinsue City's Eastern Public Automated Warehouse. Now this is not like the first warehouse we had on the previous map, which this does not store food here. This is only for building materials. We have plans for a marketplace somewhere else in order to store food, and as you can see, it's just 2 levels, whereas the old warehouse on the original one that was on the old map was actually like 5 levels. So you had 3 levels of chests that were like this, and about 2 levels where you had sort of like a central building type of thing. But we've taken away the whole centralization for the warehouse in favor of something that's going to be a little bit more focused on being compact, less laggy most of all. There's fewer hoppers in this one. We have, as you can see, we're in version 1.9.4 in this on the server here in Paradise Realms finally. It's the first day I've finally been able to play on 1.9.4 on Paradise Realms. So it's kind of nice to have that. So it has all the same features. You have an auto sorting, auto smelting, and sorting station. This is for both auto cooking and auto sorting, auto cooking and auto smelting. And then you also have your generic auto sorting chest station that's over here. So all 4 of these chests, you just dump items into any one of these 4 chests, and they will go into your system where they will go to get auto sorted. Now we're still putting up your signs here so that we're able to identify what is in what. The filters are completed, however, so we can still just go in and just dump stuff in here. As a matter of fact, I think I might as well just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and dump in some oak wood here, put some of this here, carpets. There are some items, of course, that this will not sort for sure, and carpets are not of them. Is not one of them. This is going to get sorted. The rotten flesh is basically your very base items that are going to be sorted. Not every every single item that you have. So things like logs instead of oak wood planks or wood planks, sandstone and sand, redstone, red sandstone and sand, red sand. You have your lapis block as well as your lapis lazuli blocks, and then you have or lapis lazuli, and then you have, of course, we've added glass on here because glass is going to be something that's a little bit more common. Stone, we've got some stone already started. Cobble, that's still not filled up. I think we should have some gravel. Here's some diorite right there. So all your base blocks are going to be stored in here and upstairs as well. So this is changed differently. So instead of using a whole bunch of hoppers, when I was sticking again with the base item sorter design, I do know that we now have item sort designs that will allow you to sort multiple items into one chest, and it looks like we've got one of these end up being stopped here, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this and put this back on track. So this gives me a bit of an opportunity here to start using our little cart launcher and directional control mechanism, and all you do is you put your little cart right on this track here. It will go, there goes 1, put the next one on, 2, 3, there it goes. There you go, all 3 carts now going continuously in a loop in one direction. So if someone happens to bump into these things, sometimes they will stop. But the reason why we're using the carts instead of water streams and instead of using hoppers is, one, water streams are not reliable, as I've shown in one of my other videos. They're the fastest method of item transport, but they're not reliable. And on top of that, if you have one block that's containing the water stream happen to break, all your redstone in that area is going to get flooded, and it's going to just be a big humongous mess. You're going to lose a lot of work. So that's why we just opted this. Yeah, we do end up carts that end up stopping every now and then, but that's no big deal. We have this here that ends up storing everything, and it looks like we've got a bunch of stuff that's been put in here before. We've got granite and some strings, some stone, and some wood blocks. So someone's been in here and they've been loading stuff in here, as well as other than myself. And so this is a good thing to see that there are other people actually using this now that it's gotten started. And if we go up to the top floor, I'm going to check to see if everything is running. So it does need to require some occasional checks just to make sure that all the carts are okay. If I can just get into this room. This is why we have this mechanics room there. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. So there are your three ones there. Let's take a look to see if this one, there should be a cart that comes up from there. See, let's go back around, see if that one's okay. Yep, there it comes. And it's gonna go like this. So just a little bit of idea of how this works. Whoops, there it goes. So see all your carts that are going on. So you have this track here that's going over these item filters that are there, and you can see inside the item filters, as with the old systems here, that you got your filler blocks, and then you have your item here. In this case, this one sorts ender pearls, and then this one here sorts iron ingots, and this one next to it was sort diamonds, and and so forth. We have enrods and emeralds. I think we had something that sorted gold at one point. There should be something here with gold ingots. Oh, looks like the gold ingots have been replaced by something else. Oh, there it is. Here we have a gold ingots right there. So that's okay. So these go round and round in a circle, and they just pick up items from this hopper over here, and basically feed everything into the hoppers below. And then this one will pick up on whatever's dropped off by what's remaining in these carts. Now the nice thing about this is that they'll only pick up maybe 1 or 2 items at a time. If you had the hopper system or the waterway system, you have the risk of having overloaded item filters, and then the item filters can actually dump and do a humongous dump in and even get the filler blocks out of the way, so that you have to reset the item filter. So this system prevents your system from having any type of overloads on the individual filters by having the little buffer mechanism that's there. And so you've got quite a bit here that's being buffered. So I'm just going to go downstairs, and this is into our maintenance shaft here. Let's see exactly what's going on here. And over here we have the item sorters for the actually this is where the items from the auto furnaces get picked up. So you can see there's a little cart that goes back, forth, goes around, comes back, and it's a loop. I can actually show you exactly here. You can see the other cart that's going here. So it's pretty busy here with all the individual carts that are going around and around. But if I just go up here, and you can see, very simple. Just have a cart that comes around, whoop, swirls around and goes back, and then it goes around and around and around. And it's just going and picking up items from the individual hoppers that are coming down from the auto furnaces. So if we go down here, and we have our little buffer item, and this is where all your buffered items are. So here we have this chest, which holds all your items that have been dumped into here. You have your hoppers that are constantly being filled up, and so this thing, it'll take some time for this to get filled up before you get some sort of backlog in here. But it doesn't really matter, because these hoppers are going to keep on dumping items into this, and that cart that keeps on coming back, it's only going to take about 4 items at a time before it goes up to the second floor. So that goes up there, and again, very good method of, it's slower than the old methods for loading the individual chests. It takes quite a bit of time, but it's also less maintenance in the long run. So if someone just happens to pass by here or go AFK here, those items will eventually get all loaded up. It's not a big deal. We're not in any rush. Most of the time when people use the warehouse is because they have items they want to get rid of and they just want to dump off here. Some people are active miners and woodcutters and whatever, material gatherers, and they would come here and dump off the items that they've gathered in order for them to be used by the builders in the building projects that we have here in Jinsue City and the rest of the Jinsue Empire. So I want to now that we don't have a map to the next location we're going to, and that is to the harbor. And this is the eastern harbor that we've started to work on. We're planning to have our warp around here once we have enough for a world guard. Sorry guys, I'm not opting for Optifine on this map due to the fact that I'm opting for another more useful mod by the name of World Edit CUI. Maybe some of you might have heard of it, but it's a really useful mod for anyone who's a builder, and must have because it allows you to show your selections with World Edit. And since I happen to be a builder who uses a lot of World Edit, it comes in very handy, and you get to see your selections as beforehand before you go ahead and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try and test this out. So it's very handy to have for World Edit, and it helps you do a lot of things. Like if I didn't have it, it would be a lot more difficult for me to do these little curves here, right, that I have here, and it just makes it a lot easier. So over here we have our little marketplace that we have for the harbor right now, and right now we don't have anything inside of it right now. Just this little guy who's going to be one of the market guys here. So we captured a little villager and decided to put him in here. And you know, there's another level here. You can go out, take a look around, you know, right on here. And then if you go further up here, it takes you up to the main level. So you can actually find a way to get down by going through here as an alternate way of getting up from the harbor area. So you know, you can come here and do trading, do fishing, whatever, or you can just warp in, however you want to do. Now over here we have the customs office that's coming up. So that's one thing we added here. And this is a work in progress. And here's another thing I wanted to do is also a little bit of building while you know, recording this little episode, this little video for Jinsue Empire and Paradise Realms. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So first of all, I wanted to show this particularly, especially for the people who are building around here, how to do these little corners. And I had a few people like Void Chaser and a few others who can't figure out how to do these little corners, overhangs. So let's go ahead and try and do that. So let's just try and see if I can find one around here that's going to be decent, something to use here. Okay, here we go. This corner here is not done yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there we go. So it looks like I'm going to have to add in some logs here first of all. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to put one here, select this, select here, and then I'm just going to this is going to be just set log like that, because I'm just going to have it go over the log, and you can see that I can see my selections in this beforehand. That's thanks to that CUI, or the World Edit CUI mod that's there. See, you just point one end on another end, and then you get your selection. Now this is very helpful when you start selecting polygons instead of just cuboids. So that's the reason why I'd be going around using this. And then of course just go //cell to get rid of your selection, and there you go. Now let's go ahead and start turning this into a very nice looking Asian style overhang. So I'm just gonna take these two out, and I'm gonna go back up, and I'm gonna take these two out here, this one and this one, and then I'm gonna take it around like this, and let's put one here, whoops, wrong, fail. Let's take this out again. Oop. So one there, and one over here, one here, and then we're going to put your slab, one here, and one on top, one, 2, 3, and then go 1, 2, and of course we have to take this one out because I had put down 2 on here, and then 3 and 4. There we go. So that's how this would go. So you have, if you want to have an idea of how that was, it's you gotta take the stone brick stairs around here and turn them upside down. Put 2 stone brick slabs here. Add your 3 stone brick stairs around the corner around there. You're going to remove the stone brick slabs from here. Then place 3 stone brick slabs this way, like that, and 1 over here. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that over here just for the sake of it. So first thing off, we're going to take these 2 out. So 1, 2, and you go back up here again. 1, 2. So first of all, upside down. So to do this, you're going to point your cursor right at the top half of the block, and then right click to do that. Again, point top corner of the block, sorry, top half of the block, and right click, and that's how you make it go upside down. Same thing over here. 1 and then 2 like that. Now we're going to put 2 slabs right here. Why are we doing that? It's that so we can point at the top half of this block. If we point at the bottom half of the block, so if I did this right here, if I went just one block, 1/2 slab like this, and then I tried to place this, it's not going to work, right? If I aim at this, it ends up being right side up instead of upside down. So I'm going to take this out here, and so that's why I need to put my 2 slabs like this, right? Then I'm going to take my upside down stairs like this, right, aiming at the top of the half of that block. Then I'm going to take out my stone brick slabs, and then I'm going to replace them by going 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. See? Now, some people might be asking, check, why the heck won't you just put a full block over there? Well, it's just so I don't end up having to, have an extra block. I'd rather do it this way because it turns out, it just works out just fine as far as the number of blocks that I need. Oh, there's a nice little feature I want to show you guys. If I remember, yep, it's already turned on. This is the lighthouse for the customs office. We have a few of these lighthouses around on the coastal area as well on Jinsue City, and we're going to be spreading them around more along the coast. And these things, they turn their fire on at night, and the fires are extinguished during the day, completely automatic. So very, very nice little thing. Gives a little more, I guess you'd say, natural look rather than the redstone lamps. So that's why I opted to have the fire that's self-extinguishing and self-starting rather than have redstone lamps, because you look at that, it just looks far more nicer with this old style of Asian architecture that's there, right? Of course, you got your beacons there that are not exactly part of an old style. That's just there for the whole practical part of it, this being Minecraft. So that's just to show that this is a government building. That's because remember in the last map we had color-coded beacons that told, okay, this building is for this purpose, this building is for that purpose, and it just allows you to find them from far, far away. Blue ones were infrastructure buildings. So if I go there or here, from all the way from here, I can see that blue beacon that's coming from the warehouse, and that tells me that, oh, over there's an infrastructure building. So a very, very nice thing to have by having the beacons there. And then over this side, I can know that this is a government building that's there. Actually, they're far more practical than having the other lighthouses, because if I go further and further away, that lighthouse, becomes harder and harder to see. But if I go this distance there, oh, looks like the beacons did go out, and the lighthouse is still shining bright. So okay, there we go. You can still see the beacons from there, and you could also see the lighthouse light from the water from here. So you can come in from here and you can see the customs office while you're coming into the harbor. So we do plan on building some more aesthetic looking ships around here, again for the purpose of having a warp or more a feel of, hey, I traveled here by ship and I got here by ship, and then you manage to come to the harbor, and then you get on board, get through the customs office, and read through all the laws and all that stuff. So on the inside of this place, it's still pretty bare. It's big. I can tell you this. This is way bigger than the old customs office, and this is where we're going to be putting all the rules and laws. I think is probably I went a little overboard with this because there's quite a lot of room here for what we need, a lot more than what we need. This is probably going to be a lot, probably be just a couple of these walls that are going to end up being used up, but it leaves a lot of space for added rules and laws and stuff like that. Maybe we might end up having additional information or something on the individual thing. Maybe this whole section here, these two whole walls here can just be for rules and laws and regulations, while the other two can be for additional information, like who's the shoguns and who is the emperor and all the stuff and what do you need to know, where is what. So I think that's probably going to be what that's going to be for. Might stick maybe stick a little small mini map of the area around here somewhere. Just how to figure out where we're going to do that. I think maybe up on the top or upper levels. Yeah, this will probably be a good area to have a couple of mini maps of the area. So I think we might do that. We can put some stairs up on here. So I think I'm going to do that. So you might notice here we have obsidian here. Now the reason why we have that is because the new map allows for blasts or TNT blasts, creeper blasts. So we want to make sure that if there's a mob that ends up blasting, or obviously there's a creeper that ends up blasting here, or some griefer comes here and tries to blast this thing with TNT, it doesn't, we minimize the amount of damage. We won't have a hole going through the ground or through the floor that cause people to drop right through. It's also prepared for in the case of a particular purge. This will actually help us to stay on the same floor at least. Even if the whole place gets blown up, we'll still have that floor that's up there at least. So shows that okay, this was there, and a little bit of added insurance, so to speak, in terms of a purge. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna change this to wood here, and also this should be changed to whoop. Oh, forgot to do this one here too. And this here is a dot to wood. There we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this up. This, and just test it out. See if I can. I have to make sure I get this also on. 1, 2, 3. Oops, 2, 3. There we go. Take this out. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Let's check this out. See if I can, get up the stairs without banging my head or something. And I cannot. So it looks like I did a little bit too little as far as the stairs are concerned. So I'm going to take this whole thing, and I'm just going to try to move it over. I'm going to expand one up. I'm going to move it down one. Like that. That gives me just enough room to get through. So I'm just going to add a little bit here to like that, just to make it okay. And again, I got problems, so I'm just going to do this again like this. Oops. That, see, this is why it's helpful to have this. And again, let's put 1. Now we can continue on with our stairs. So it wasn't enough the last time, and I'm going to keep on filling this up like this. And I'll show a little trick for this carpet. Now you may notice that we have all red carpet here, and also up here we have sea lanterns on the ground on the floor here. You're wondering, oh, what the heck is that for? Why not just put torches? Well, I'll show you. This is a nice little trick I learned from another player by the name of Oreo. She showed me a little trick that she did when she was decorating my place, and that is to put your lighting under carpets, and that allows you to see like that, and that allows you to have some full lighting right on the ground, so that the immediate area where any mobs would otherwise spawn would be lit completely. So I'm gonna set this to wool 14. That's red wool. Like that. I'm gonna crouch down here and see if I can get this right there. Right there and right there. There we go. And I can still see my selection there, so I'm gonna do /cell. There we go. And it clears my selection. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go boom to here, whoops, up to here, and I'm gonna shift it up one. Oops. And I'm gonna put down some red carpet with that. You can see automatically the carpet that's not supported by a floor will fall off. And I've got this little bit of carpet here that's on the stairs, so I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to take rid of my selection. There we go. All nice and done there. See, now I can get up here, quickly come out. Right, get rid of this here. There we are. Wonderful. And head over to the lighthouse. Now you saw at night this thing was lit. Well, now it's not lit. See? Automatically this thing will come off. Now let's go ahead, and if you want to find out how the heck this works, you're gonna have to follow me in. So let's go in there. I'm gonna go up the ladder into lighthouse. That, go around here and go up the stairs, and here we are on the main floor up here. And this is actually both a guard tower and basically a sentinel tower, or something you might want to call like a guard tower, as well as a lighthouse. So this is what is the redstone behind it. Okay, so you've got 4 pistons, and each piston has a slime block attached to it. So we have this piston that has a slime block here, and then you have 2 other slime blocks on either side. Pistons have a limitation as to how many slime blocks they can have, and even also how many other blocks can be attached onto those slime blocks. So no matter how many slime blocks you have, one piston can only take up to 3 additional blocks or so. Well, I've seen a little bit more than that, but it depends. I see maybe it depends on, like, you can get like 5, 6 depending on how you put it on. But I stuck with 3 just for simplicity's sake. And in this case, you have a daylight sensor that's over here, and it's detecting the light that's coming through the window. And so this will basically, when it fires, it'll then activate this STP. It's a comparator STP. As you know, this is my little trademark thing that I've been using for some time. After I invented it when 1.6 or 1.5 came out. So that's there. So that sends out a pulse up to this little inverter. The inverter right now is keeping them extended. Now what happens is, when the pulse is sent here, this inverter or this redstone torch is going to turn off and then on again. And that's what's going to cause these all 4 pistons are going to, because what happens is there's redstone over here. It comes up here, so this power is coming from, this is getting powered from the redstone torch below and sending it into the pistons. So when this turns off, the redstone dust here turns off, and the pistons will retract. When this turns back on again, the redstone dust will turn on again, and then the pistons will extend. Now, what is above this? Well, we can go outside and see that. If you look here, we have some netherrack. And what is right below this netherrack are the slime blocks. And that's what is being pulled down and up. This netherrack is pulled down and up. And over here you have your dispensers. Now, these dispensers are actually filled with flint and steel. So, and above this, excuse me, you have you have another daylight sensor, except this one is to sense the lack of daylight. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this so that you can see it better, just for temporarily. So when nighttime falls, what's going to happen here is that this daylight sensor is going to be activated, and it's going to put a pulse, or it's going to put a signal strength out to all of the dispensers that are around over here. So you have these are dispensers over here going around like this, and you have cobblestone that's going around like this, right? And the cobblestone blocks are what's passing the current from the redstone to the dispensers. And when the dispensers receive power, then they activate the flint and steel inside, and then the flint and steel will basically fire up whatever is below it. In this case, we have netherrack, so the netherrack, of course, we know will be able to maintain the fire for as long as we want it to stay. So I'm going to go ahead and undo this, put that back. There you go. The fire's turned off. So if I go ahead and toggle this like that, and then off again, there you see, there's your fire. See? But so let's go back into the room here. So don't really have an override for this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna break the circuit here, and then there you saw that very quickly these pistons, they just retracted and then extended again, pulling the netherrack back up and down. And it looks like the fire has been put back on again. I just heard that again. Yep, that's because it's nighttime. So when the netherrack is retracted and extended back up again, that extinguishes the fire. Now, unfortunately, the thing is, it's nighttime now, so the fire will still be on because we had toggled it, right? So there we go, the fire is still on in this case, see? But when the sun goes back, when sunlight comes back up again, up in the east, then we'll be able to see that this fire will be extinguished. Like, I don't want to using water because, for instance, you can end up with water that just seeps all the way out. And I tried it before; it just causes a lot of problems. So this is a far better way of doing it, nice and clean, without having any type of messes. So that's it for today's episode. I'm thinking I'm gonna call it a night for tonight. Please look forward to any future episodes that we have. Like and subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments below. Remember to keep it clean. This is Check the Effects. Sign off. Peace.